Well, hello, everybody. It's Sheryl Lee Ralph, and welcome to premiercollectible.com/diva, where it is an actual live signing of my book. And you can see the placement right there in the back, right? Diva 2.0. I love that picture. I actually picked out that picture when I saw it. It just said, yes, here is to life, to me. Anyway, I want to thank all of you there out in the world, all over the world, who are joining us today as we talk about the book. I want to thank you all for your questions. My goodness, there are quite a few of them here, and I'm very thankful, and we're going to get into these questions. But the number one thing people have always asked is, why write a book? And I thought to myself, why not write a book? Especially if you've got something to say, especially if you've got something to share, especially if people keep asking you, when is the book coming? When are you writing another book? I need to get this another book. Well, I just thought to myself, you know what? It's about time. And I have to thank everybody that has just fallen in love with the idea of my writing a book because you enjoy watching Abbott Elementary. Yay! I'm telling you, Wednesdays have been changed for me because Wednesday nights, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central, across the North American continent, everybody is literally doing something called destination TV, meaning they're marking their calendars, putting the alarms in their phones to make sure that they don't miss Abbott Elementary when it's actually coming on TV. Now, there are a whole group of other people who love to stream. I love you all too. But for those of you who are making it destination TV, thank you so very much. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. I cannot share with you how much we all appreciate your viewership and the way that you just lift us up when you talk about how much the show has inspired you and the feeling that you get from watching the show. I actually hope that you get the same feeling when you're reading Diva 2.0 because you and how you feel and how you get through life, you're important to me. And I'm so thankful to all of you who have chosen tonight to join us and get your live signed autographed copy of the book. And I'm really hoping that you will take the time to share your thoughts about the book. I'm on Instagram, so you can always go to my Instagram, Sheryl Lee Ralph at Instagram. And then on Twitter, it's the Sheryl Ralph. I don't know whatever happened to the Lee. I think at that time, back in the day, for Twitter, there were only a certain amount of characters that you could have. So anyway, the Lee got dropped on Twitter. But it's the Sheryl Lee Ralph on Instagram and the Sheryl Ralph on Twitter. So I look forward to hearing from all of you. And of course, you can see me there on Facebook. I'd love to know your thoughts. I'd love to read your comments. And I'd especially like you to share the book. Buy a special one for a friend. Gift it to them, wherever it is that you get your books. But you can also do it right here at premiercollectibles.com. premiercollectibles.com/diva. That's DIVA. And for those of you who are wondering, okay, diva, is this all about big hair and even bigger attitude? Not at all. It is actually an acronym. Divinely inspired, victoriously alive, awesome, audacious. And if it was Sunday, anointed. There you have it. And we could go on and on with all the fabulous A words to talk about what that stands for. But I just want to thank all of you for loving the diva. And so let's see. The book, it starts I know you all have the book, but if you were to open it to the dedication, I really wanted that to be special because this book is dedicated to you, dear reader. There are many books you could have chosen, but you chose this one. You chose this one. Maybe it was the cover. I already told you I love the cover. Maybe it was your interest in me and my story. Whatever the reason, I thank you for choosing my book because it was written for you. Yeah, it was written for you. It was written with you in mind to encourage you, to inspire you, to help you discover just how important you and your life journey really are. So grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and get ready to drink from my wisdom well. Because this book is dedicated to you, dear reader. One of the things that I have found in all of my journeys, in all of my travels, people never, ever give themselves the encouragement that they need. They never admit or want to pay attention to just how important they are. I mean, just the way they are. Honest to God, if you, whoever you are, listening to me, watching, if you're not here tomorrow, if you're not here an hour from now, everything changes for somebody, and probably more than likely a few people, because you're important, because you're valuable. You know, some people don't realize that it's sometimes the very small things that you do. And I mean, not the very large things, the small things that you do. The person that you might not even be acknowledging, but sometimes you pass them during the day and maybe it's a smile that you give them. Maybe it is just acknowledging them. I'll tell you something. One day I was downtown LA in the Flower District, and it has become very much of a transient community for the homeless, the unhoused. And there actually was a woman just walking down the street, and you could look at her and see that she was down on her luck, right? But I was there buying flowers, and she was walking right towards me, and I said, hello. And she stopped in her tracks and she said, hello, thank you. And she started to walk. And then she turned back around and she said, aren't you Sheryl Lee Ralph? And I said, why, yes, I am. She said, wow, imagine that. You are down here. And I said, yeah. She said, what are you doing? I said, I'm buying flowers. She said, wow, wow. And then she said, thank you for the hello. I needed that. All I was saying was hello to another human being that I was passing on the street. And just that simple gesture meant so much to her. Now, I could, in my book, write a lot of life lessons, but one of them would have to be, it's the small things. It's the little things that you do for others. But in reading this book, you'll come to the first lesson. It's actually find a role model and seek mentorship. And sometimes, you know, you might not always be able to get a mentor in real time, in real life. Sometimes the way you look at things, you might find a great mentor in your heart, in your mind. You know, like you connect with some people that you see and you say, that's my friend in my head. Sometimes you have to connect with your mentor like that. That's my mentor in my head. That's my role model in my head. You'll read about it in the book, but I really was watching. I'm a TV kid. I loved TV. I still love TV. Look at that. I make my living on TV. But in loving TV, I remember I was little and there was a television series called Julia. And Julia was all about this nurse, a widowed nurse with one son, and his name was Corey Baker. It's funny the things that you remember in life. Anyway, his name was Corey Baker, and his mother was Julia. And the name of the series was Julia. And it starred Diane Carroll. Diane Carroll was a beautiful woman, and a beautiful woman of color, Black woman. And I looked at that woman and I was like, that is me. That's me. And I remember looking at her and I would watch the way she walked. I listened to the way that she talked, and I would copy things about Diane Carroll in the series Julia. And a lot of that shaped, you know, who it is I am. Of course, I had other role models around me. There was definitely my mother, great role model for me, and the way she loved me. You know, it was, I say this often to people, it was the love of my parents and the way that they loved me that really helped me become the person that I'm still becoming. But I always say, find your role model and seek mentorship. If you don't have that person that you can put your hand on, touch hands, meet and agree with, find that person somewhere out in the world, like I did with Diane Carroll. Diane Carroll, like I said, became my role model in my head. I started reading articles about her and the way she lived her life, and, you know, things that have lasted with me. Diane Carroll never wore a lot of jewelry. I, to this day, still never wear a lot of jewelry, although I do wear it. I do love it. Oh, yes. But I still, you know, following her in her footsteps, don't wear a lot of jewelry because in my mind, I am enough. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you do. Anyway, I wanted you to know that I looked at the chapters of the book, and you're going to really find out more things about me as you read the book. But I just showed you read to you what the first life lesson was. The last life lesson here, the number 12, Diva lesson 12. The first step towards being great is being grateful. Grateful. There's a song that I love, and there's only one lyric, and it's grateful, 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 great, and it just goes on, because sometimes we must be grateful, not just for the good times, but grateful for the valleys that we sometimes find ourselves in. Because if you really pay attention to yourself in the valley, and you know, like I just said, that you are enough, you will find a way to get yourself out of the valley and up on top again. But life isn't always great. Life isn't always easy, and you will read about that in the book. You will have moments when you will think to yourself, how did I get to this place? And I always say, sometimes you got to learn lessons. Sometimes, you know, people want to tell you that mistakes are bad things, mistakes are awful things. No, sometimes a mistake is a learning lesson. Sometimes you're supposed to learn from the mistake. You know, I have two children, and they make mistakes. They've made mistakes in life. But one thing I have to always say to them is, did you learn anything? Did you learn anything from the bad choice that you made or the mistake that you made? Did you learn to make better choices for yourself? What did you learn through that mistake? What did you learn when you were in the valley? you'll read this in the book, you know, in going through my valleys, I am thankful and I am grateful to God for the good times and the bad times in my life. Because I always believe everything always works out for me. Everything always works out for me. I don't care if it's something bad. Okay, the door is locked. The door is closed. Maybe you're not supposed to be in that room. Maybe God wants you to enter that room at a later time. And when I say God, that's because that's the bigger spirit that I believe in. You might not believe in God. It could be anything. It could be Jah, it could be Allah, it could be Buddha, it could be nothing at all. But whatever it is that you choose, I know that that greater spirit is always going to work it out for me. I am thankful for the good as I am thankful for the bad. I am grateful to what has been given to me. One time, and this is not in the book, it'll probably be in the next book, my mother was raised by a woman that she thought was her mother. And it wasn't her mother, it was actually her aunt. And for such a long time, my mother was angry that her mother gave her away. And one day, my mom and I sat down and I said, Mommy, I am so happy your mother gave you away, because if she did not give you away, you would have not been with a family that loved you so much that they encouraged your dreams. And because you had these big dreams, my mom was an immigrant, you left Jamaica, came to America, and a year later you had married my father and I was born. If your mother hadn't given you away, your life could have, probably would have been so very different. So I'm just so thankful that once again, see, I wasn't even born yet and everything was working out for me because God, the great power source, ordered my mother's steps to a place to where I could be born. I'm telling you, everything always works out. You'll read about some of the triumphs and the tragedies in my life, but like I've been saying, I have learned from all of them. And I'm grateful. I am very, very grateful. Now, I know that time is going to fly, and I want to get to your questions because there are so many questions. And I'm going to put my glasses on, not because I need them. No, I'm putting these glasses on. Why? Because I look good in them. Look at that. I love these. So I saw them on Instagram. Great eyeglass designer in Brooklyn, and she had these, and I said, oh God, my goodness, those are my glasses. Anyway, Jeffrey is from Fort Worth, Texas. Hey, Jeffrey. And Jeffrey is asking, do you ever plan to do a one-woman show? If so, please bring it to Dallas, Fort Worth. We love you, especially me. Oh, thank you, Jeffrey. You know, I wrote a one-woman show in the past, and it was called Sometimes I Cry. And Sometimes I Cry was about real women's real stories around HIV and AIDS. And, you know, as an original company member of Dreamgirls on Broadway, I saw what had happened to so many people who were infected with HIV and those that died of AIDS. And I was deeply impacted by how people chose not to care for other human beings. And so I wrote that one-woman show, and I traveled around the world, Jeffrey, performing those monologues. But now that you're asking me about a new one-woman show, I really do think that I'm going to have to put the work in to get that done, because everybody's been asking me, just like they asked me to do the book, I think I'm going to have to, write and work on a new one-woman show, Jeffrey. And if so, I think I'll have to come to Fort Worth, Texas. Yes. Okay. Question number 2 comes from, is it Theodore? I can't really see, but I think it says Theodore from Miami, Florida. Growing up, when did you know you wanted to go into a career in the performing arts? Theo, I've got to tell you this. My mother tells the story all the time that, I was born in a time when they would literally, the baby was delivered and they would hold the baby upside down by the ankles and then they'd smack the baby on the behind so that the baby would cry. Now, can you imagine that is your entry into life, being held upside down and smacked on your behind so that you could cry and clear your lungs? See, I'm so glad that greater minds have prevailed and we now have very different ways of welcoming children, babies, into the world. Anyway, my mother tells the story that I did not need to be smacked on the behind because I was already laughing. So I think that I was born for show business. I was born strong, so I know that I was born for this. But when did I really, really know that it was for me? Like I said, I am an immigrant's child. And as an immigrant's child, they always want the best for you. But it's not just like the regular best. They want the best for you on steroids. No matter what your mindset, your brain set is, they want you to be a doctor, be a lawyer. And if you can't do that, then marry one. Well, I got accepted to Rutgers University. And I was so excited to be going to Rutgers because Paul Robeson, a great orator, a great actor, a great athlete, an all-round amazing human being, and a Black man, graduated from Rutgers. #1 in his class, #1 in sports. And I said, whatever school he goes to, I want to go to that school. Well, I couldn't go to the school because it was an all-male school. Guess what? The year I was graduating from high school, they opened it up to women. And I got to go to Rutgers. And I entered Rutgers as a pre-med student. And I was so excited, and yeah, I was not cutting open that rabbit that they put on the table for me to dissect. A frog was bad enough in high school, but a rabbit? Who cuts open the Easter bunny? No, I was not going to be a doctor. So then I immediately went to search for law. Oh my God, my brain could not take it. You'll read about this in the book. But when I really was distraught, I was walking on the campus because I feared telling my mother that I wasn't going to be a doctor. I wasn't going to be a lawyer. In fact, I didn't know what I was going to do. And I came across a theater. It was literally called the Little Theater, and it had an audition sign on it, and it said auditions today. I walked in to that theater, and my life was changed. And you'll read all about what happened in the book when I met Dr. John Bettenbender. So it was there on the Rutgers campus when I realized that it was all for me, a career in the performing arts, and I was good at it. It made my father so happy when I started winning scholarship after scholarship. He was like, Sheryl Lee Ralph, act as much as you want. Yes, I started getting paid for my education. Hi, Sheryl. This is from Vicky in South Bend, Michigan? Hi there, Vicky. One of my best friends, her name is Vicky, and she spells it Vikki too. Hi, Sheryl. What's the biggest lesson you learned about patience and believing in yourself? Vicky, the biggest lesson I learned about patience was actually from my father. God rest his soul. I will never forget. My dad and I were competing on a television show, and it was called Take 20. And they gave you had 20 questions to figure out what the answer was. And my dad and I kept winning. We won and we won and we won and we won week after week after week until I had to leave the show because I was going off to college. And somewhere along the line, my dad looked at me and he said, one of the greatest lessons you will ever learn is patience, because you are very quick, you are very smart, and you must have patience with those around you who may not be as quick and as fast as you are. So learn patience. Don't stop believing in yourself, but learn patience. And I would have to say that that is truly one of the greatest lessons ever for me, is to practice patience. You know, sometimes I'll be in conversations with people and I'll have an idea of exactly what they're trying to say, and I'll be answering their questions, and the person says, wait a minute, let me tell you. And it's like, okay, I have to remember, be patient and listen. Believing in myself, that's interesting. I have to write a TED talk about believing. You know, believing in myself was something that was given, the belief in myself was given to me by my parents. To believe that I had it in me to make it, to believe in myself and to not let other people's negativity or whatever become my burden, but to believe in myself and know that I can make it. It really, really all came from my parents. They instilled that in me. They gave that to me. So I hope that that answered your question. Anyway, you are, for everybody that is here with me right now, it's Sheryl Lee Ralph, and we are here, all of us here, with premiercollectibles.com/diva. Share that with your friends. You can share that with them now. We've got another 30 minutes or so to go, and I'll be here answering the questions, you know, for everybody and anybody that is buying their autographed copy of my book, Diva 2.0. All right. Another question here is, and this is from, you know something, I'm trying to figure out. Maybe if I turn this to the side, can I see those questions more? Does it move to the side? Ah, there we go. Yes. So you see what I've done? Now, Vicky was actually from Southfield. There you go. Southfield, Michigan. All right. So moving on to Kenesha from Cairo, Illinois. Kenesha is asking me, how do you manage to find the time to do everything? Kenesha, this is also another lesson from my father. My father said to me, there will always be time to do the things that you really want to do. And here's an example. You are fast asleep in the bed. You are tired. You've had a very long day. The phone rings. You answer it. And it is somebody you haven't spoken to in a long time. But guess what? Just hearing their voice, you are wide awake and ready to have the conversation. Why? Because there is always time to do the things that you really want to do. So I have to say to you, Kenesha, I try my best to prioritize my life. I try my best, you know, top of my priority, my children, my husband, right? They're right there at the top. My job, those things, I have to prioritize those things. And in doing those things, it's all about seeking balance. Now, I don't think that I could do all of these things by myself. No, you've got to have great support. You must have a firm foundation. Now, when I say firm foundation, that's my family, my extended family. You know, when I talk about support, that support, it came for me from my mother and my father. You know, as I was working, as I was making it, my parents were there for me to offer me help, you know, as I was raising my children. And it was just wonderful to be able to know that I couldn't do it all by myself. I shouldn't have to do it all by myself. And I was blessed to be able to have the support of my family and at times my friend. And, you know, we have a home engineer who started out as my children's nanny. She ended up staying with us for some 30 odd years. So that was always a firm foundation and great support. So as I traveled, there was always somebody constant there for my children. So Kanisha, that's how I did it. You know, get yourself some help. Make sure you maintain balance in your life. Balance is so important. When you get off balance, you feel it. It's like me, I'm having a nice little vacation right now, trying to balance things out, trying to do my best to rest. I cannot tell you how important rest is and water. Water is something we just don't drink enough of. And I love it. They put cucumber in this water, which makes it taste so nice. Okay, now we're going to Neil from Topeka. Am I saying it correctly? Topeka, Kansas. What does the phrase, where are people when, I love this. What does the phrase, where are people when you need them, when you need some help, they're just not around, yes, mean to you today? To me, it has held its power and its message to this day. Thank you very much. That actually comes from a song that I sang, and it was on an album. And I just love that song because no matter where I am, summertime, if you go into certain clubs, restaurants, and bars, you will hear that song playing. And what was interesting was when I did the video for that song, it was a homeless woman. And this homeless woman still had dreams. And this homeless woman finds a pair of shoes. You all know I love shoes. If you don't, you'll read the book. I love shoes. And she finds a pair of fabulous shoes, glitter shoes, in a box. And she puts those shoes on, and she's in her space, you know, her hovel, a burned out building, and she becomes fabulous, right? Okay, wait a minute. I think, is the stream there? Seems like we're still there. Okay, hopefully we're still on. Anyway, she becomes fabulous. But before that, she says, where are people when you need them? When you need some help? They're just not around. Doesn't anybody work here? I don't have all day. It's such a crazy town. And then it goes on and on. You'll have to look up that song. You will find it. Sheryl Lee Ralph. Just go to iTunes, Spotify. You'll see me. Very short hair. I chopped off all my hair. It's called In the Evening. In the evening, the real me comes alive. So thank you very much, Neil. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. Next question. This comes from Autumn from, is it Schnellville, Georgia? And Autumn is asking, what's the key to getting out of your own way? Autumn, know from the start that you are enough. Know from the start that you are perfect just the way you are, just the way God made you. Autumn, know from the beginning. And if you don't know it, practice this. Get up in the morning, look in the mirror, and love what you see. Empower what you see. Respect what you see. And don't listen to anybody when they're telling you, you need to change this, you need to do this. Have conversations with yourself because you know what it is you need to do for you. Know that, own it, believe it, work on it, make it your day's work. I work on myself every day. And you heard me say it earlier. Do not let other people's negativity become your burden. You know how many people are walking around out here believing the things that people told them? And guess what they are? Lies, untruths. Read the book. No today can be yes tomorrow. Don't get defeated, and don't let life frighten you. And the next time you're second guessing yourself, stop it. Stop it. Take time to what? Breathe. It's another thing we don't do enough of. We don't breathe. Breathe. Calm yourself. Center yourself. And then rethink what you think you thought. I think rethinking is one of the best things ever. Rethink it. You're blocking yourself? Don't block your blessings. Calm yourself. Rethink what you think you thought. Start all over again and move forward, knowing that you can do it. I'm telling you, people, I meet so many people, and it's like I want to say to them, my God, you're so amazing. And they don't know how amazing they are. People always think they have to overcompensate. Chill. Sit back. Value yourself. Do you, because I'm telling you, you're perfect. Yeah, you are. I don't care what anybody's told you. If they've told you you are less than perfect, trust me, it's not you, it's them. Did you hear what I said? It is not you, it is them. If you are doing the best you can in life, if you are being the best you can to yourself, and it all starts with you. Because see, the best you are to yourself is the best you can be to everybody else. Concentrate on you. Get out of your way, Autumn. Get out of your way. Because God has put that path out there for you. God, Jah, Allah, Buddha, whatever you believe in or don't believe in. The path is set. Choose to walk it. And I'm not saying that you won't have hurdles, because sometimes we got to learn how to jump over those hurdles. And if we're not jumpers, sometimes you just need to move it out of the way. Like that. Get out of your way, Autumn. Carolyn. Carolyn. I love that name. I have an Auntie Carolyn. Carolyn is from California. My Auntie Carolyn is from Connecticut. CCCCs, all of that. What inspired you to come out with this book now? Carolyn, let me tell you what happened. We shot the pilot for Abbott Elementary. And when we shot the pilot, I realized the show was really good. And I thought to myself, wow, this show is as good as I think it's going to be. I need to have a book. I need to have something out there for people to read. And that's what I did. And that is literally, Carolyn, how it happened. You know what? I always believe in this saying, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And too many people don't want to stay ready. You know, it's sort of like, for me, it's like you have to have oil in your lamp because you never know when the power's going to go out and you need more than a match. I want to have oil in my lamp. I want to be prepared. I want to be ready. And, you know, there were things to talk about. There were things to share. And the timing was just perfect. And that's why I did it. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness, there's so many questions. Hey, Mackenzie from South Carolina. Is there a main theme or takeaway you want your readers to gain? I think you hear me repeating it. You're wonderful. You're so good. You're a great human being. You have so much to offer to the world. Oh my goodness. Don't give up on yourself. Believe in yourself. Own it that you are enough. Don't stop learning. Don't stop living your life. In fact, get up off of the sidelines of your life and start living it. Do that. Do that for you. If you can walk away with any of that feeling from the book as you read what my journey has been like, then yeah, that was a good one. That was a good thing to do. Henry from Texas. Oh my goodness, we're very popular in Texas. I love it. Texas, Henry from Texas. What's been a highlight or pinch me moment in Henry? Let me tell you something. You're going to read about it in the book. But when Amy Poehler was on that Microsoft stage and she said, and the winner for Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy is, envelope please, Sheryl Lee Ralph. Yeah! Henry. Oh, that was a pinch me moment. That was a hallelujah moment. That was a thank you, God moment. That was something I will never, ever, ever forget as long as I live. Carson from New York. At what age did you know you wanted to become an actress as your full-time career? 16, when I entered college and could not decide what I was going to do. I knew I wasn't going to be a doctor, knew I wasn't going to be a lawyer. I was a 16-year-old freshman at Rutgers University, and that's how it all came together for me. Lila from Ohio. I have a cousin named Lila. I love that name. If you could choose one song to sing or perform from Dreamgirls, which would it be? When I first saw you, I said, oh my. I said, oh my. Oh, that was flat. Oh my, that's a dream. That's my dream. I needed a dream when it all seemed to go bad. Oh my God, I love that song. When I first saw you, every night when Ben Harney and I would sing that duet, it was just, oh, it was like magic. And, you know, Dreamgirls was such a great time in my life. So when I first saw you, and people always sing that song to me, you know, and I just love that song. In fact, Dreamgirls is one of those incredible albums. It never gets old. And I'm talking about the original Broadway cast album. I think they call it OBC, Original Broadway Cast. Yeah, that's it. That album, it never gets old. And it's always, you know, perfect. You can exercise to it, go on a long trip and just listen to it. It never gets old. Catherine from Illinois, when you were just beginning in your career, did you dream you would ever become so what? So happy, so wonderful, so grateful, so thankful? I absolutely did know it. I absolutely did believe it. And I absolutely knew somehow, some way, it would come true. I really did. Sarah Grace. Oh, I love that, Sarah Grace. Sarah Grace, like Sheryl Lee, I love that. From Maryland, what advice would you give an aspiring actress performer? Sarah, hone your craft. Get into class. Never stop learning. Always sharpen your craft. Always stay ready. Get yourself an agent. And if you don't find that easy, get a manager. You have to have somebody in this industry that gets up on Monday morning and the first they're thinking is, what are we doing for Sarah Grace? How are we moving Sarah Grace forward? You have to have that in this industry. You know, I have that with my management, with my agents. I'm with a big agency. Oh, I shouldn't say big agency, a boutique agency called Innovative. And I know that on Monday morning, maybe every morning, somebody is getting up and saying, what are we doing for Sheryl Lee? You have to have that. And you also, I'm telling you, Sarah Grace, you better believe every time that you are the best thing since sliced bread. Because if you don't believe that you are that good, that you believe in this industry, that you can do it, do something else. Because this is a business built upon no, rejection. And a lot of people are not built for it and will kill your spirit. That's why some people teach. And there is nothing like having a great teacher. I'm telling you. Avery from Chicago, Illinois. What surprised you the most when writing this book? About how deep you have to dig sometimes. The truth that you have to tell sometimes in the stories that you write. Yeah. And the fact that there were some things that I didn't really know how much like my feelings had been hurt by them or how affected I was by them. You know, there's a chapter about how my oh wow, I'm talking about it and see, I'm feeling it, about how my grandfather was killed and how that affected me. And yeah, the fact that most times, I think anytime if you're going to take the time to write something, even a memoir, and to share things with people, you have to be truthful. And sometimes it's difficult to be like that with yourself. Sarah from Southwest Ranches, Florida. On a scale of 1 to 10, how awesome is Diva Simply Singing going to be this year? I got to tell you, it's going to be off the chart. You know, we've been on TV because of because of COVID, couldn't be all together. So we're doing the specials with ABC, and I'm very grateful and thank you for ABC on the red carpet for thinking enough of us to, you know, keep us alive so we wouldn't miss a year, because we're the longest consecutive running musical HIV/AIDS, a health and wellness benefit in the country. And I didn't want to miss a step. So this year, the plans are to go live, baby, on stage in LA at the Wilshire E. Bell Theater. So we will be off the charts. Forget about 1 to 10. It'll be fabulous. Thank you for that. Maggie from Foley, Alabama. Sheryl, I think you are being such a joy on Abbott. What fascinates you the most about Barbara Howard and her character, or the character of Barbara Howard? I always tell people that when a character is well written and it is there on the page, that character literally, for me, jumps up off of the page and in to me. And Barbara Howard, oh my God, she just lives in me. I love the fact that Barbara Howard, she accepts herself. You know, Barbara Howard, she can be stern, but she is so loving. She loves her job. She loves the students that she works with. She loves what she's doing. And she's now taking the time to mentor other young teachers that come into the field. And I love that giving of self. I love Barbara Howard. I can't stand her wig, but I love Barbara Howard. And the fact that she just loves her pearls. You know, Barbara Howard always has on these pearls, the pearls of it all. And I love her friendship with her co-workers, especially Melissa Chimenti, you know, and I am so blessed that Quinta Brunson chose me, wanted me to work with her to bring Barbara Howard to life. And I'm just so deeply grateful for that. Just as I am for having had this time here with all of you. Oh my goodness, look at that. The time is running down, and I just want to, you know what? I wanted to read some. Oh wait, was there another question here? Oh no, I got through all of those. I just want to read something for you before we go, because the time is running down and it's gone. So I knew it would happen quickly. And you know, you're going to get to the very last page of the book, and I just want to read a few things for you. These are a few little extra things. God, because that's what I believe in, but you could put in whatever you believe in, can do in 60 seconds what you can't do in a lifetime. Give God the wheel. Take the pressure off of you. Give God the wheel. Sometimes you need to speak out loud about the things that you want and need in life, and you are not crazy for talking to yourself, talk to the greater spirit. Give them the wheel. Number two, you matter more than you can imagine. You are enough. So let me just say that again. You matter more than you can imagine. You are enough. Number three, sometimes you have to do it yourself. Every time, and I'm going to repeat that, sometimes you have to do it yourself. Every time you wait on someone else to do it for you, you are giving up a bit of your power. You are giving up a bit of your power. Own your power. Own your power. You know, my mother used to say to me, never ask somebody to do something for you that you are not willing and able to do yourself. Number four, life is very short. Shower the people you love with love, especially yourself. Life is short, people. Enjoy it. Love on yourself. Number five, big or small, you have influence. Use it wisely. Big or small, you have influence. Use it wisely. Number six, everybody does not need the mic. Everybody does not need the mic. Sometimes some people have big enough voice, they can just be heard no matter where they are. Some people just haven't gotten their thoughts all the way together. Think before you speak, people. Think before you speak. Number seven, talk to and take time to encourage young people. Talk to, take time to encourage young people. They need it. And it doesn't matter what generation. If you're 100 years old, encourage that 80-year-old. If you're 80 years old, encourage that 60 years old. If you're 60, encourage the 40. If you're 30, encourage the 15. Encourage young people. Encourage those teenagers. Be kind to children. Number eight, when you think your peace of mind is out of reach, you are not alone. You are not alone. Get a checkup from the neck up. Get a checkup from the neck up. You deserve peace of mind. If you need help, get help. You need medication, get medication. You need therapy, get therapy. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed. Get a checkup from the neck up. Number nine, the past is the past. The future has not arrived, but the present is right here, right now, and what a gift it is. What a gift it is. How many of you are suffering from anxiety because you are worried about things that haven't even happened yet? Give yourself a break. Get into the now and enjoy it. Number 10, when you know that you have been blessed, it is up to you to bless those around you. Just be a blessing. Just be a blessing. Just be kind to people. Just be kind because you can. Share the goodness that you have. Oh, yes. Number 11, sometimes it's the thing you fear doing the most that once you do it, it might actually make you stronger. But be careful. Some people like to jump out of planes. Some people like to climb up the Empire State Building. Lord, be careful. But don't be afraid. Go on, live your life. And number 12, the world will keep spinning when you stop. The world will keep right on spinning. And with that, I want to thank all of you for joining me here at premiercollectibles.com/diva. It has been wonderful. I want all of you to get your signed copy at the link above. Get your signed copy at the link above and share the book. Don't buy one, buy two. Okay, buy 5 and share it with your friends. You're going to go to premiercollectibles.com/diva. Diva 2.0. I love the cover. Yes, I love the cover. All right there. I am Sheryl Lee Ralph. And guess what? I am enough. Just like you. We are enough. So I just want to thank all of you for being here with me this evening. I've had a wonderful time with you, and this time is just, my goodness, it's just gone by so quickly, but I enjoyed it. And for everybody that's been asking, yes, Abbott Elementary will be coming back for a 3rd season. I want you to watch it. I want you to stream it. I want you to binge it. I want you to enjoy it and let everybody know how much you love Sheryl Lee Ralph as Barbara Howard, your favorite fake, not real teacher. Yes. Okay, no, I take that back. Your favorite teacher. Yeah, just plain old favorite teacher. All right, Sheryl Lee Ralph, Diva 2.0. Good read, quick read. You will enjoy it. Share it with your friends and know, I'm going to just say it one more time, you are enough because you're perfect just the way God made you. God bless you. Take care and be good to yourself and read on, baby. Read on. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is John Acuff, New York Times best-selling author of 7 books and someone who's done a live signing. If you like the one you just watched, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. It's full of amazing authors having great conversations and signing books for viewers just like you. So make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching today.